Hey everybody, it's Mike from AMZ Advisors, and today I have with me Isaac Smith and Jason Snyder from Summit E-commerce Advisors.
Yeah, it's a unless you have these three accurate reports, you're not really going to know what's left over for you. And again, here's I'll talk more about the profit first methodology again of setting aside a percentage of pay. At least I'm going to pay myself 1% of what that gross margin is for my labors and things. Establish the habit. I it seems to create a mind shift in people of, hey, I'm just at 1% now. Because if you just keep putting off and hoping for some payoff someday, one, you don't know if it's ever going to happen. Two, you haven't established the habit that you're not valuing your input and your work in the business. And you're not doing it in a way that's recognizable, that you can't point to. If there's something about being able to, even if it's $1 a week, even if it's $5 a week, that you're hey, I'm worth a lot more than $5. What am I putting all this effort in for? Some future random payday? Would you go to and work for somebody and where they're paying you $5? Oh, but in 2 years you're gonna get a $200,000 payout. Well, is that really worth the 2 years of work to do that? So I'd like that methodology to apply that. But to answer the technical side of the question, it's really a conversation you and your tax advisor should be having, because there's tax implications for how you do it and how you pay yourself. A lot of business owners say, hey, I just want to pay myself whatever's left over. Well, it's a moving target. Let's put it that way. It can change a lot. And so I think a better methodology is set a habit of paying yourself every week, every month, a certain percentage or at least a small amount to recognize your labors that you're putting into the business. And it also gets you to think of valuing what your contribution is to the business and making those assessments as, hey, is this 70 hours a week that I'm putting in here for me? What's my outcome? Am I going to sell the business? Am I going to hold on to it? What's my end game of this? And it shifts the mindset a little bit away from, I'm hoping to sell it. Well, look what happened with COVID. Yes, e-commerce businesses have taken off since then, but we don't know what's the next thing around the corner. Yeah. And yes, you're taking a big risk if you assuming that that's always going to be there, that somebody's going to want to buy your business if that's what your end game is. So I don't know if it directly answers the question, but I want to shift away from the traditional mindset is, I'm just going to pay myself what's left over. Or whatever's left in the bank account that's obviously a no-go. Just don't do that.
I'll add to
I
that.
advise against that, whatever.
Pay myself whatever's left over, but I'm going to reinvest all of my profits.
Yeah.
Well, when are you ever going to make any money? This is what a lot of Amazon sellers go through. And so I just wanted to add to that. So Jason's been talking about profit first. And for those who, I think he's given a summary. I think you get the idea of what that's about. But if you've never heard of profit first, it's a methodology that was described in a book called Profit First by the author Mike Michalowicz. It's a really great, it's a great book. It's surprisingly not a boring read. He's a great author. So I would recommend anybody who's interested in that, pick that book up. But essentially the overview is, this is a pattern that gets repeated everywhere, not just in e-commerce, but throughout businesses from all time, right? Is you own a sandwich shop, but you just don't have enough money to pay yourself. This is the entrepreneur's problem. And so the point of the book is, listen, if you just keep going at it, hoping it'll be better, maybe if I work a little harder, it's actually not going to give you the result that you want. You actually have to put a system in place to make sure that you got into this business for a reason. and it wasn't to work your butt off and not make any money. So if you want to change that, you actually have to put something in place. And so the profit first methodology is really it's a simplifying thing that you can do, which is essentially take all of your income and twice a month, put that into jars. So you remember, like your grandma's money jars or envelopes or something like that, where they had right on the envelope, this is for whatever, and separate these things out. And make one of those will be for owner's pay or profit. And so you choose a percentage that no matter what, you pay yourself this much. And so that way, no matter what happens, you can at least have something. Hope that makes sense. Definitely highly recommended.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. I think as entrepreneurs, a lot of the time, we just trust our gut and go with our instincts and see what makes sense. Like, oh, we see money, like let's pay ourselves. But the reality is you need to rely on your advisors and the people that have been there before and know how to manage this to help you make better decisions in areas that maybe aren't your strengths. Well, I think we've talked a lot about the different reports, inventory management and cash flow side. You know, why don't you guys tell our listeners a little bit more about how Summit e-commerce advisors can help them understand their bookkeeping a little more and help them manage their e-commerce business better?
Sure. So that's what we're here for. Is by the way, if you're listening to us and you're thinking, yeah, I need to get on top of this, I just have no idea how, get in touch with us. I'm sure you'll have contact information somewhere if you're watching this. Get in touch. We're happy to just have a conversation, and it doesn't have to be a sales pitch or anything, but just we want to be as helpful as we possibly can and point you in the right direction for you, which may be different for somebody else. And so that's really what we're all about. So how can we help? One, we can have a call with you just to help you figure out what would be best for you. Maybe you're not in a place where you're ready to pay somebody to take over this work for you. Well, if that's the case, there are a host of other options that you might consider. But if you are just too busy, you don't have time for that, and you need to offload this, sure, we can help there too. We do a monthly bookkeeping service where, so as you might expect, we do provide these 3 reports, but our job is we don't ever want to be the people who just say, here you go, here's your reports, enjoy, I'll see you next month. We're really here we want to have calls with you at least once a month to sit down and review your information with you and help you understand what this means. I always go back to Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was one of the very first books I read that really shifted my mind from like an employee type mindset to like, wait a minute, I need to be out there adding value in this world. I think a lot of people have have read that book. If you haven't, do yourself a favor, pick it up, by Robert Kiyosaki. In that book, he talks over and over about the importance of educating yourself, increasing your financial literacy. And that really is key. So, you can find other sources of information, but if we're working together, we're going to help you. It's not going to be like, you're not going to instantly know everything, but we want to at least be helping you understand this each month, get better and better at knowing how to read these things, what these things are telling you, and then how you can apply that to your business. Because everybody's going to be a little bit different. And so we want to be that source of advice, whether you're paying us or not, really.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no, I think that's very helpful, and it really explains what you're willing or what you're able to do for a lot of our listeners. If they want to get in contact with you guys, what is the best way to reach either you or Jason?
Sure. Any way that's easy for you, we have a website, summitecommerce.co. You can find information there and place to schedule a call with either one of us. You can email us if you'd like, Isaac@summitecommerce.co. And of course, the spelling ISAAC is the name, is for me, Jason@summitecommerce.co. You can reach and ask any question you want, and we're happy to help.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate both of you coming on the show and really opening up on your knowledge of this topic. I think everyone can kind of see how knowledgeable you are and how much this matters to you and the service that you're providing to your clients. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.